Tonight, filing a formal defense. What court documents reveal about multi-million-dollar lawsuits against 3 former LHSC leaders. Plus, heightened security.
It's unfortunate that every time something happens overseas, it spills over here.
The local precautions amid Middle East violence. And preventing tragedy.
This comes about as a result of many near misses throughout the region.
The provincial police blitz targeting drivers who pass stopped school buses.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. 3 former senior leaders at London Health Sciences Centre are fighting back against a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. They've each filed formal statements of defense. And with more on their side of the story, here's Rita Ismail.
A $10 million lawsuit filed last summer by London Health Sciences Centre claims former president and CEO Dr. Jackie Schleifler-Taylor, former chief financial officer Abhi Mukherjee, and former executive Bradley Campbell failed to act on concerns raised in a confidential document about possible fraud in hospital procurement and construction contracts. In a separate but related claim, the hospital also alleges a broader $50 million fraud scheme involving former executives and contractors. All of the named parties deny wrongdoing, and none of the allegations have been tested in court. In her defense, Schleifler-Taylor says she was never told about what the lawsuit calls an additional report, raising concerns about fraud. She says when she received a separate workplace investigation report in April of 2022 dealing with staff issues, she directed human resources to seek legal advice and relied on that guidance. She also argues the lawsuit should not move forward because of a separation agreement she signed when she left in June of 2024, and because more than 2 years have passed since the events in question. Schleifler-Taylor has filed a counterclaim alleging the hospital violated that agreement by publicly sharing details about her departure. Mukherjee also denies any knowledge of fraud. He says the report at the center of the lawsuit was completed before he was hired in September 2022. He also argues the claim was filed too late and says the lawsuit is retaliation for his own wrongful dismissal case against the hospital. And Campbell also denies wrongdoing. He says concerns first surfaced during a 2022 workplace harassment investigation and that he recommended the issue be raised with senior leadership. He maintains he was not responsible for overseeing any fraud investigation. Since the matter is now before the courts, LHSC declined an interview request. In a statement to CTV News, the hospital confirmed it has reviewed the recent defense pleadings. In part, Supervisor David Mouche said the pleadings themselves underscore fundamental governance breakdowns that existed at that time. None of the allegations in the statement of claim or the statements of defense have been proven in court. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
And CTV News has reached out to lawyers representing Schleifler-Taylor, Mukherjee, and Campbell. Mukherjee's lawyer declined comment, and at this point we've received no response from the others. Jewish and Muslim centers in London are on heightened alert after gunshots were fired at a Toronto area synagogue last night. With more on the local reaction, here's Brian Bicknell.
It's become the new normal at Jewish synagogues and community centers. Violence abroad, anxiety at home, followed by heightened security. Jewish London, Ontario Executive Director Dean Lavey says sadly they're used to it.
There's not a Jewish institution worldwide today that doesn't have security regularly. And that's the lived-in experience in London right now.
He was reacting to an attack of gunfire Monday night on a synagogue in the GTA while people were inside. No injuries were reported. It comes in wake of rising violence in the Middle East. Meantime, officials at the London Muslim Mosque are also condemning the violence against a place of worship.
It's unfortunate that every time something happens overseas, it spills over here.
Police say just having their presence felt can give people a greater sense of security and safety when tensions are running high.
We want the community to feel safe, and we're concerned about their well-being, so we want to make sure that we have resources in place to monitor the areas and show a presence.
The LPS says it is closely monitoring the situation in Iran and potential impacts locally, and to expect an increased police presence around places of worship and community and gathering spaces.
Parents, whenever something happens, they reach out and they say, all right, if you guys increase and heighten the security at the mosque, and which is, we always say yes, because events like that, we become more vigilant.
We are working, we have a great relationship with the London Police Service. All of our evening events and all of our afternoon events will have security, which has been, again, an unfortunate reality over the past few years.
Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Good evening. Temperatures have been above freezing through the afternoon. As we head into the evening, we will start to see a drop off. But the main moisture associated with this frontal boundary to the south has stayed south of the Great Lakes. Now, there has been some very light precipitation in and around the region today, but it's been quite spotty and sparse. In terms of the evening, we are expecting most of it to be moving on out. Now, there is some very light freezing drizzle in and around Toronto. We'll leave in that risk for the next hour, and we will have some fog develop. Skies will stay cloudy through the late evening, but the cloud cover will start to break up overnight. The temperature drops down to about -1. Tomorrow is our break day. It is going to be beautiful and spring-like. Temperatures are set to climb. We'll see this day-to-day warming continue. By the weekend, we're talking double-digit temperatures. I'll take you through that forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Julie. City councillors approved a controversial high-rise project today in the North Talbot neighborhood. Officials with York Developments have offered to relocate or compensate existing residents, convincing enough city councillors to give them the green light. However, as Daryl Newcomb reports, the developer is not required to follow through on these commitments.
I will say this, a little less horrible, but not a lot.
City Council divided over York Development's offer to provide existing tenants of this affordably priced building with similar accommodations or $10,000 compensation if its application is approved to redevelop the northeast corner of Rideout and Kent into a 30-story building. Company President Ali Soufan's letter also committed to create a small, publicly accessible private park across the street.
Those two commitments have meaningfully addressed my earlier concerns about tenant displacement and green space. And while no redevelopment is without impact, these measures demonstrate an effort to mitigate them.
Councillor Skylar Frank wrote York Development's offer into the motion, along with some environmental and bird-friendly requests. But several colleagues emphasized even in a motion, York Developments can't be required to follow through on the commitments.
We have absolutely no tools through the site plan process to make sure that this goes forward.
It's not binding. It's already been said it's going to be done, and we're not pushing hard enough. We're not fighting hard enough for London.
The more people we have living downtown will create a better downtown. And that's why I support this particular application.
Downtown Councillor David Ferreira emphasized the loss of affordably priced private market apartments if the redevelopment goes ahead.
We are going to lose the affordable housing. It should be a temporary relocation and a replacement in the same spot.
I think we have to protect affordability wherever possible, but at the same time, we have consistently said that growth belongs downtown.
Ultimately, a majority of council voted in favor of the planning application by York Developments.
How do we then hold the developer, in this case, to account on these extra items? And I still think that that's going to be a challenge. And I think that it's going to create even more sensitivities in the neighborhood.
York Developments intends to break ground in early 2027. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
A proposed casino in Grand Bend has been scrapped. With more on where the gambling attraction would have been built and whether it could still be constructed in the future, here's Scott Miller.
Grand Bend is not getting a casino, at least not right now.
There was a proposal for a casino in South Huron. The developer brought forward the proposal to have one in Grand Bend. We always listen to all the developers and see where it can go. We're not saying yes, we're not saying no. We just want to hear all the facts first. But at this point, there is nothing moving forward simply because OLG is not doing any more expansions of casinos in this area. So at this point, it's put on pause.
The former site of the boat store just off Highway 21 on the northern side of Grand Bend was the proposed site, brought forward by a developer to South Huron Council late last year. But Ontario Lottery and Gaming Corporation, which governs where casinos go in Ontario, told South Huron Council this week they've got enough gambling spots in southern Ontario and aren't looking to add more. Adding casinos to the region would also require amendments to the deals they have with current casino sites in places like Clinton and London.
OLG controls where the casinos do go, so they would work with the developer and then come together with an idea, and then the public would have an opportunity to speak to it.
Well, the answer from OLG in terms of putting a casino here in Grand Bend is no right now. That doesn't mean the answer will always be no.
At this point, there's nothing happening, but who knows in the future what will happen. If OLG does want to expand, they know we're interested and we're willing to talk.
Finch says if the opportunity to add a casino at the proposed site in Grand Bend arises again, South Huron would most certainly be ready to listen.
Casinos have proven themselves over the past number of years with the regulations and the policing that goes into it. So the ones that are local, the one in Clinton, for instance, it works well, and we don't see any adverse side effects to that degree. However, we're very much aware that there could be challenges, but we want to make sure that we listen to all parties first and then move forward with whatever the public and the developer, and if OLG is on board as well, to work with everyone.
In Grand Bend, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Fire destroyed a house in Byron overnight. The home is at the corner of Commissioners and North Street, directly across from Springbank Park. Fire crews say it ignited just before 11 p.m. last night. They say flames were pouring from the front of the building when they arrived and had made their way into the roof. According to emergency responders, the house was unoccupied. There are signs around the property indicating it will be part of a new mid-rise apartment complex. Thames Centre firefighters responded to a house fire just outside Dorchester early this morning. Crews said they found flames and heavy smoke coming from an upper-level bedroom. They were able to knock the fire down quickly. Fire officials say there were 4 people in the home who all escaped, one of whom was checked over by paramedics for possible smoke inhalation. No details on a cause were provided, and damage is estimated at $300,000. 2 of the 4 people charged in the Chesham Place weapons investigation appeared in court today. 27-year-old Jerry Tong and 21-year-old Fayang Ji appeared separately over Zoom. They were each given new orders not to communicate with 5 people in addition to their 3 co-accused. The court heard both of their lawyers were still waiting for disclosure from the Crown. The other 2 suspects are due for court appearances tomorrow, which includes an expected bail decision for Zekun Wang. All 4 face a rash of weapons charges stemming from a London police search at the Chesham Place address back in January. Provincial police are reporting a multi-million-dollar drug bust in Huron County. They say police raided a rural property near Clinton last Friday where they located more than 4,000 cannabis plants. According to police, the suspects did not have a permit for such a substantial grow-op. They seized the plants, which they say are worth more than $2 million, while arresting 2 people.
It was a large-scale operation, 4,000 plants and all the potting soil that's required and fertilizer and water and hydro supply that was required in this exterior building. It was a large, organized, complex system that was set up there. The estimate that we have, that's in Canadian dollars, over $2 million. If that product were to make it across the border, for example, into the U.S., we know that the value of that would be much higher. I'm not sure if that's where it was intended to go, but certainly they did not have any permits to grow these plants, and therefore they've been charged criminally.
Provincial police say they're cracking down on drivers passing stopped school buses in our region. It's part of an 11-day blitz, dispatching officers to areas where complaints are frequent. Sean Irvin reports.
Be it winter, spring, or fall, it is a call officers are dispatched or a witness to far too often. Drivers passing a school bus with its lights flashing.
Almost seems like a daily occurrence where we get complaints from bus drivers or other motorists on the road.
And officers have had enough of it. So through the middle of the month, OPP from across southwestern Ontario will be stationing themselves in locations known for infractions.
This comes about as a result of many near misses throughout the region.
OPP want to avoid any injuries to children, especially in the wake of the late 2024 death of Dante Caranci. He died exiting a school bus on Longwoods Road just outside OPP jurisdiction. 2 people face charges related to the 7-year-old's death. Both of those cases remain before the courts. Hare concurred that the tragedy resonates with his fellow officers who are doing everything they can to protect children.
We're just trying to minimize the risk that our youth are seeing when they're riding the bus. It shouldn't be a thing, but unfortunately, it still seems to be.
Late last year, the Community Bus Safety Committee at Dante's School in Delaware debuted the No Excuses campaign. It warns drivers to take notice of school buses. Road signs will appear in the coming weeks. Committee member Laura Preston told CTV News she welcomes the extra effort by the OPP. But Preston is calling for stronger year-round enforcement and for stop-arm video cameras to be installed on all school buses. Still, he reminds parents and children that they have a role to play in school bus safety. But ultimately, Hare wants drivers to be more responsible and reminds them that yellow lights on buses just prior to the red are not an indication to speed by.
We all have a role to play in this to be a lot better.
In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
When we come back, escalating violence in the Middle East as the Israelis and Americans continue driving up the death toll in Iran.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvlondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. Iranians are fleeing the escalating violence in their country, largely heading to nearby Turkey. American and Israeli forces launched a fresh wave of attacks today, while Iran fired retaliatory strikes on U.S. allies in the Gulf. With the latest, here's Adrian Gobriel.
As the sun sets on day 4 of this war, the scale and scope is painfully coming into focus. South of Tehran, Israel struck this compound today, belonging to the group responsible for electing Iran's next supreme leader. Throughout the night and into the day, Israeli forces have also been targeting Iranian-backed Hezbollah positions across Lebanon. The Red Crescent says that more than 780 have died in Iran since the fighting began on Saturday, with the single biggest loss of life taking place here at this girls' school. Neither Israel nor the U.S. have claimed responsibility, though nearby fresh grave sites have been dug to bury dozens of children. The president of the Red Crescent in Iran saying that more than 168 children, aged 7, 8, and 9, were martyred.
The fear, the panic, the anxiety experienced by millions of people in the Middle East and beyond is palpable and was entirely avoidable.
11 countries across the region have been on the receiving end of airstrikes fired by Iran since the fighting began. Following an Iranian attack in Saudi Arabia, the U.S. have shuttered embassies in Riyadh, Kuwait, and Beirut. With Tehran under a daily, deadly bombardment, thousands of Iranians are trying to flee to neighboring countries. Turkey is home to more than 120,000 Iranians, with many residing right here in Istanbul's historic quarter. Foreign nationals we spoke with at cafes in this neighborhood declined to speak on camera, still fearful of the reach of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard and anti-Iranian sentiment here in this country.
So celebrations in your house last night.
Halit Yenejeh's wife is Iranian. The couple have been waiting for the decimation of the Islamic regime.
Islamic regime, for Persian people, we are happy, really happy. Devil's times finish.
Halit, what is your hope for the future?
We want good election, good rules election, and secular system for Iran.
As the flames of war fan out of control, any semblance of peace in the Middle East at this hour remains a distant hope. Tonight, U.S. Central Command say they've hit 1,700 targets since their joint operation with Israel began. With Iran hitting back, this entire region has been thrown into a state of chaos. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Istanbul.
A NATO mission in Iceland is giving Canadians a look at what could be the future of our fighter jets. Swedish-made planes, along with American jets, are joining forces, boosting security over the island that has no air force of its own. With more on what it could mean for Canada's military, here's Geneviève Beauchemin.
On duty for NATO in Iceland, the Swedish Air Force showed off just how fast it can prepare its Gripen fighter jets for takeoff.
Our goal is to rearm, refuel, and do all the checks necessary to take off again in roughly 15 to 20 minutes on road basis.
Aircraft technician Sergeant Emil Lindgren says the made-in-Sweden jet is easy to maintain in the harsh climate of the north. That's part of the sales pitch from Swedish-based aerospace company Saab to land a deal to sell its Gripens to Canada.
We practice at home regularly in these conditions, so it's a match made in heaven, I think.
But Denmark, too, has deployed to the region. It flies the F-35s and says its advanced fighters also perform well in Iceland.
They are equipped well for this environment.
Canada has bought 16 of those jets and is now reviewing a deal to go with a full fleet or with a mixed fleet of F-35s and Gripens. Both fighters are serving in this highly strategic region as Sweden leads its first air patrol mission as a NATO member. Its mission comes at a critical time.
There's no sign of Russia scaling back on their Arctic ambitions.
Since Sweden's rotation began, there have been no Russian sightings, no incidents. But its deployment also comes in the wake of U.S. President Donald Trump's demands to acquire nearby Greenland.
I have to say, our relationship with the U.S. has been very good, and actually in the recent years it has deepened quite significantly.
But Iceland and its partners, now protecting its airspace, are training their sights on getting NATO allies to focus on common enemies.
No doubt this is all information Ottawa is analyzing as it makes its final decision on its fleet of fighter jets. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News at Keflavik Air Base in Iceland.
And Julie Atchison is on the desk with me now. Looking ahead a couple days, it sounds like we're in for some mild conditions. You've even pitched it as extreme mild conditions, very mild, which to me is a bit of an oxymoron, because mild, I'm expecting it to be just so relaxing, but it's extreme mildness.
Well, you know what? When you see temperatures go from like 3-4 degrees, we start to talk about the mild air. And then when we're talking 16, I mean, I can't say warm just yet, but I guess 16 is close to being pretty warm. We have some showers in the forecast, though, and periods of rain. In terms of our extended forecast, we'll be in and out of showers. Today, we hit almost 3 degrees, our low -7, so coming in just a bit above. We had some very light precipitation moving through as we head over the next couple of hours. We still have a chance. You can see lots of instability around. The main frontal boundary is south of the Great Lakes, and that's where all of this action sits. So the main rainfall along that warm front and coming in with that low pressure system. So what will happen tomorrow is this system will just slowly drift a bit further southward. But this low, this is going to start to really develop and ride along this frontal boundary. That's our weather story as we head into Thursday. So tomorrow, we'll get back into a weak ridge of high pressure, and that means we have a bit of sunshine. Now, I want you to take a look at the national map tonight, because look at this split flow. So we have the cold polar jet to the north, and there's the warm southern air to the south. In between, we have more of a zonal flow. So what happens when we see this zonal flow set up over the lower Great Lakes is the weather systems that come in south of us, we see these little low pressure areas develop, and they float towards the Great Lakes along those boundaries. That brings in the potential for the heavy rainfall. So we'll be talking about that for your Thursday. Temperature-wise, that cold remains bottled up to the northwest. Temperatures on the mild side. Across southern Ontario, your Wednesday looks great, a mix of sun and cloud. As we head into Wednesday night, we'll start to see this weather system from the south arrive with a little bit of light spotty shower activity, but the main rain will come in as we head into Thursday, and it could get quite heavy at times. You can see temperatures near the lake could see a bit of mixed precipitation, possibility of some light freezing drizzle, but I am expecting temperatures to warm quite quickly as we head through the mid part of the day when the rain arrives. So that's the good news. As the precipitation arrives, we'll be into the rainfall. Overnight, -5 to -7. Watch for some fog overnight and first thing in the morning if you are out traveling. Light winds through your Wednesday, a mix of sun and cloud. The forecast high 6 degrees. And yes, we'll have it feeling like spring. Look at this day-to-day warming though, 9 degrees. Rain on Thursday. It looks like the rain will hold off until midday, so cloudy to start, but quickly warming. 14 on Friday. Mainly cloudy with a chance of nighttime showers. Showers on Saturday and 16 degrees. It'll be interesting to see if we can get up to that 16. So these are the days I'll be watching in the extended forecast for sure. Mix of sun and cloud on Sunday and a high of 10, 11 on Monday. And the chance for showers on Tuesday. We've really shifted in terms of those bitter cold temperatures. We've almost turned the page. Spring-like conditions arriving to southern Ontario with spring showers. A significant melt underway. Thursday we'll have to watch areas with the melting conditions. Now, so far it's been a fairly slow melt, but I am expecting that to accelerate in the coming days. And with the additional rainfall, please stay away from those open waters, the rivers, the creeks, the streams. They can rise quite quickly. Heading into your Friday, mainly cloudy and 9, 11 with showers on Saturday. We spring forward this weekend, and we've sprung forward this week, that's for sure. Mix of sun and cloud on Monday, daytime highs over the weekend, as you can see, on the mild side, and temperatures double digits early next week. So Carlyle, things looking great for tomorrow. Lots of sunshine on the way. Prepare for a wet afternoon on Thursday into Thursday night. And this weekend, it's going to be extremely mild, extreme.
All right, Julie.
Across the area, yeah, really, in terms of those double-digit temperatures from about 8 to 11 degrees. So that's a big warm-up.
Extreme compared to the cold we've had, for sure. Julie, thanks very much. Still ahead, what the weight of war has done to the stock market, the impact for investors, and the rising cost of oil. And Lauren Stallone is with us tonight for another Behind the Likes segment, and we're going a bit retro.
That's
Back
right.
in memory lane this time.
That's right. We're taking a look at some baby pictures.
All right, that's coming up later on CTV News.
Pure Country 93 wants to send you to Sandals South Coast in Jamaica. We're giving away an all-inclusive Caribbean vacation for 2 every weekday. Listen for your chance to win. Pure Country Passport with Sandals Resorts. Get closer to the Caribbean.
Local real estate officials say home sales picked up last month. According to the London St. Thomas Realtors Association, 410 homes sold in February, up from 341 in January. Home sales are down nearly 20% on a year-over-year basis, though. Elstar officials say the region's average sale price was down slightly, about $620,000. Stocks tumbled today with the TSX and Dow opening 1,200 points in the negative, largely attributed to the worsening conflict in the Middle East. There was a recovery through the rest of the day while oil and gas prices surged higher. With more on the impact, here's Mike Lucatour.
The joy that comes with the opening bell quickly faded as the New York Stock Exchange dropped almost immediately. The TSX quickly followed suit as it dropped nearly 1,000 basis points 5 minutes after the open. Monday stock markets opened down but did recover, and some investment specialists see the dip as an opportunity.
So I think there'll be some opportunities here for some of the potentially higher risk names that have got hit quite hard. To potentially look at these as entry points to get back into them.
As stocks slide, the price of oil continued to climb. Iran produces less than 5% of the global output, but the Middle Eastern country is cutting off access to the Strait of Hormuz. More than 20% of the world's oil goes through that maritime passage. So while crude oil investments are rising, so is the price of gas.
About $10 a barrel increase in oil prices results in 6 cents a liter at the pumps.
The U.S. President Donald Trump campaigned on lower gas prices, but today he told reporters this increase should be short-lived.
If we have a little high oil prices for a little while, but as soon as this ends, those prices are going to drop, I believe, lower than even before.
Still, this former CEO of the Alberta Petroleum Marketing Commission worries Trump's prediction could be wrong.
Iran has these drones, $20,000 drones, that seem to be able to shut down Qatar's LNG production, right? So if that's the case, then it'll be a long time before production returns.
Now, if oil production continues to stall, some analysts worry the price could spike to $100 per barrel. a level the world hasn't seen since the 2022 Russian invasion of Ukraine. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
And here are the closing numbers for those North American markets. In Toronto, the TSX lost 756 points. In New York, the Dow fell 404, the Nasdaq dropped 232. The Canadian dollar gained a modest 0.02 cent. On commodity markets, gold dropped more than $180 an ounce. Oil added $3.33 a barrel. We are 100 days out from the start of the FIFA World Cup. Canada's opening match is June 12th in Toronto, where organizers hosted a Fan Fest event today, building toward the city's World Cup debut. With more on the countdown, here's Heather Wright.
The World Cup doesn't kick off for another 3 months, but excitement is starting to build.
It's awesome. When I was a kid, I used to always think, why don't they bring the World Cup to Canada? Now it's actually here, so it's pretty cool.
In a city as diverse as Toronto, Eugenio Pagnotta is one of many with divided loyalties. He's half Brazilian, half Italian, born in Canada. He's rooting for Brazil, but thinks if Italy qualifies and plays Canada in its opening game, there will be a sea of Italian fans in the stands at BMO Field.
The dilemma there is interesting because Italy haven't qualified for the past 2 World Cups. If they qualify this time, BMO Field is probably going to be more blue than red.
Chapel Corner Cafe is always a destination for Portuguese fans, where support will also be split.
When Portugal plays, I'm being Portuguese. When Canada plays, I'll be Canadian.
This is the first World Cup to be played in 3 countries and 3 time zones. Hundreds of thousands of fans are expected to descend on Toronto and Vancouver, where 13 matches will be played. There has been plenty of criticism in the lead up to this tournament over ticket prices, costs, and political concerns. But Canada Soccer CEO Kevin Blue says fans are in store for an amazing experience.
I think that fans from around the world can expect Canadian hospitality.
While the ground is still frozen and June 12th seems far away, Blue predicts the energy of the tournament will be infectious.
And I think it's going to, be somewhat breathtaking as far as how much of an impact this will have on the psyche of Canadians who are looking for Canada to do great things on the biggest global stage in sports.
Canada will kick off its World Cup tournament in Toronto on June 12th. Other countries playing in Canada include Panama, Ghana, Germany, Ivory Coast, and Croatia in Toronto, and Australia, New Zealand, Qatar, and Belgium in Vancouver. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Still ahead, skip the screens this March break. The push for parents to find other ways to stimulate students while they're out of class. Welcome back. For anyone planning a sunny getaway this month, a reminder from health experts, make sure your vaccinations are in order. As Pauline Chan reports, there are different requirements depending where you go.
With Cuba, Mexico, and Florida off many Canadians' lists for March break travel, Dr. Christine Palme says she's hearing more about patients planning for Southeast Asia, the Mediterranean, and Central America.
I think that there is a shift in location choice just based on what's happening globally.
And that may mean different vaccinations are needed.
Some locations such as Africa, Southeast Asia, they do require pre-planning in order to get the vaccines. There's also some financial costs that may be associated with this that may need some financial planning in advance.
For example, anti-malaria medications must be taken before, during, and after your trip, depending on where you're traveling, and new vaccinations are always being developed.
We now have vaccines against chikungunya, which is an illness that can be quite devastating. There's some things down the pipeline for dengue fever.
Measles is spreading in many countries, so make sure all your standard immunizations are up to date.
Patients who have chronic diseases may need to speak to their family doctors about bringing certain medications, antibiotics, particularly if you're traveling somewhere remotely. So, really there's not a one size that fits all.
Anti-nausea medication, diarrhea treatment, and pain meds are recommended for your first aid kits. Don't forget sun protection and bug repellent, especially in areas where mosquito-borne illnesses like Zika, chikungunya, and malaria are common. And while March break is less than 2 weeks away, there is still time for vaccinations.
Generally speaking, nothing is too late.
Dr. Palme says visiting a travel clinic, especially for overseas destinations, is a good idea. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Youth health advocates are pushing parents to set aside screens this March break, with more on the alternatives available as the winter holiday gets underway in Quebec already. Here's Lawrence Brisson de Broye.
It's easy to stay home. A movie, a series, a tablet, cheap, simple, quiet. But for some parents, that's not the plan this week.
We were looking at the other activities and a lot of them are expensive, so we're trying to make a balance.
And she found it at the Circus and Performing Arts Hub Tues. It's opening its doors to families all week. Juggling, plate spinning, hip-hop, activities designed to get creative and burn off energy. For many parents here, limits around devices aren't just a March break rule.
We can only watch like once a day a little tiny show, you know, and we try to diversify activities. It's really important for the kids to move.
For us at home, we never watch TV during the week time, only the weekend, because like the kids are obsessed with that.
And here, parents aren't just watching from the sidelines. Tues Dimanche says this week is about trying something new.
Be curious, like discover their environment, which is like outdoor, visit the park, or go ice skate, or be curious about new things you haven't tried, like dance and circus.
For some, that means hip-hop or popping. This dance teacher says the goal is simple.
Just make the people dance, make the people move, make them fall in love with the music, or just the aspect of moving and having fun through it all.
Of course, cutting back on screens isn't always simple. Psychiatrist Vincent Paquin says children under 2 should have little to no screen time because too much can affect development. After that, he says, the conversation shifts.
It's more about the quality than the quantity.
Instead of just counting minutes, he suggests being involved. If your child loves a video game, join them.
This kind of shared understanding will help parents then be more aware of what the child is up to in the digital world.
And when it comes to rules, be clear.
Not using screen devices during meals, not bringing a screen device in the bedroom at night.
In the end, it may not be about banning screens completely, but making room for moments like these. Laurence Brisson du Broye, CTV News.
Tomorrow on CTV News, provincial championships come to the Forest City. The OFSA boys basketball tournament is in London for the first time in 15 years. That's tomorrow on CTV News at 6.
Hey, and welcome back to another week of KP's Pet Rescue, where we're about to meet Sophie, the sweetest dog. Arriving in style thanks to London's Airport Kia and a 2026 Kia K4. Let's go meet her. So this is Sophie. She is the sweetest, almost 5-pound rescue with Happy's Place. She was actually abandoned out in the cold in the middle of winter, and then the amazing Happy's Place brought her in. She's looking for a home where she can be the diva, so no other dogs or cats. She wants to be the center of attention. She just loves going to explore, going on walks, snuggling. She really is just the perfect girl. So she really is a well-behaved, house-trained, spayed, healthy. By the way, she is good with kids as well. So the perfect family dog, right? You want to go find your home? Sophie, you want to go find your home?
If you're interested in adopting, visit happysplace.ca for more information. Special thanks to London's Airport Kia for sponsoring KP's Pet Rescue.
Thank you to Harry. Harry is from St. Thomas, but took this a photo in London on the Thames. Temperatures across the region dropping off tonight, but mild days ahead and feeling spring-like as we move through the week. Double digits by Friday. Rain will be on and off as we move through the rest of the week, but the mild temperatures hold over the next 7.
Students across the country are taking part in a firefighting competition using drones. With more on the submission developed by a team at the University of Waterloo, here's Spencer Turcott.
A drone powers up and its creators clear the way.
Area clear, wind weather okay.
Within seconds, liftoff. But who are the people behind this high-tech device?
We are Waterloo Aerial Robotics Group, or WARG for short.
Every year, they compete in the Aerial Evolution Association of Canada's student competition. In May, they'll go up against 20 other Canadian post-secondary schools in Ottawa. So what's this year's challenge?
This year, they are shifting the theme to urban firefighting. This year's tasks are identifying targets all around a building, moving equipment from one location to another location, and extinguishing these targets using water.
The team, made up of mostly engineering students, was in charge of building it from scratch, and they'll be responsible for navigating it using open source software.
It allows us to see a lot of statistics from the drones and information. We need to be able to show the judges that we can identify and extinguish fire targets. It'll be identified by colored pieces of paper.
Despite their advanced knowledge and skills, don't forget, they're still students and have done all of this amid their studies.
We're still doing our classes, and we also have the privilege of being in Waterloo's co-op system. So we have a lot of people coming in and out.
Another thing working against them has been this winter's weather.
We really prefer not to fly in any inclement weather.
So they're taking advantage of a rare sunny day with no heavy snow falling. With a couple of months left to fine-tune the drone until it is put to the test, they do have winning on their mind. But more importantly, they're excited to think about how their flying robot could help save lives. Spencer Turcotte, CTV News, Waterloo.
A new survey suggests as many as 3 million Canadians are taking drugs like Ozempic, and millions more want to. A Leger healthcare poll found more than half the people taking the medications reported decreased appetite, with 40% of respondents reporting fewer cravings. Meanwhile, 4 in 10 also reported cutting back on alcohol. Weight loss is cited as the #1 reason people take the drugs, followed by diabetes treatments. However, more than half of respondents who said they're interested in taking the medication say cost is a significant barrier. Local authorities in the Dominican Republic say 2 Canadian tourists were killed in a bus crash this past weekend. They say it happened Sunday near a coastal community roughly a half hour or an hour's drive from Punta Cana. The tourists were Sunwing vacation guests traveling on a bus to their hotel, driven by a third-party company. In addition to the 2 people killed, 19 others were injured. According to officials at Canada's embassy in the Dominican Republic, they are aware of a tourist bus accident involving Canadians, and they're in contact with local authorities. They also say they are providing consular assistance as needed. A total lunar eclipse was visible this morning for anyone early enough or up early enough to see it. The eclipse was visible over southern Ontario around 6 a.m. It's also known as a blood moon because it appears red as the Earth passes between the sun and moon, casting a shadow on the moon. The next total lunar eclipse visible in our region won't happen again until June 2029. And Julie's on the desk now with me and Lauren, because Behind the Likes is coming up after the break. And as we mentioned, we're going back in time, and we gave a little teaser earlier. We've got some baby pictures coming up.
That's right.
Who are these future news employees? We're going to find out. Yeah, we'll be right back.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
Before we go tonight, it's Behind the Likes with Lauren Stallone, Julie Anderson with us as well. And Lauren, as we mentioned, we're taking a trip down memory lane here.
That's right. We're going to be looking at some baby pictures today. But before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about what the trend is. So businesses and companies have been taking to social media, posting their employees and listing off what that employee does. We can see Starbucks here participated in the trend. Other companies like the Grammys and Sephora also took part. Our friends at Pure Country Radio took part in the trend. So you basically see who is responsible for those roles associated with their current job. So this is a trend like nostalgia, like the 2016 trend that we did a couple weeks ago. So I spoke with tech analyst Carmi Levy to get an understanding of why these kinds of trends keep popping up and why they're so popular.
We are seeing a lot of nostalgia-based trends that are playing out on social media now. So, for example, the sharing baby pictures of ourselves and then comparing them to adult photos and kind of seeing how we've grown. That's a human aspect in a technology that isn't always very human. Social media for a long time has tended to kind of erase the humanity from our interaction. It's become a somewhat toxic place. A lot of rage baiting takes place on it. And so I think a lot of people are thinking, let's get back to basics. Let's put the social back into social media. And these trends certainly reflect that. Let's make it human. Let's connect back with each other. Let's keep it simple. Give people a reason to just put the world on pause and just have a moment.
So I've created our own version of this trend for London, for CTV, and I want you guys to try and guess who you think we're talking about. So here, this one's a little bit easier. This is who anchors the 6 o'clock news.
I would point out in some of those photos we saw, you can tell the 90s kids because of the mushroom hats. Very different hairstyle these days, but actually still got the same smile. Yeah.
Okay, this one is who keeps an eye on London City Hall.
That can only be the one and only Daryl Newcomb.
I love this picture. It's perfect.
He's got a bit of a modeling look to him.
I wouldn't have known that was him, though.
Okay, up next. This is who runs the City of London. Any guesses with that one?
Is that the mayor? By any chance?
And you're right. It's the mayor. Okay, this is who brings you the daily forecast. Adorable.
I want to know what kind of contraption she's bouncing around. Is it
I think I was at Ontario Place.
Okay.
So they had like those bouncy pillows where you went inside and they had them all covered up.
So cute. This is who goes live from the scene. Any guesses?
I got a hunch. I think she's sitting next to us.
That's a cute picture.
I'm not sure where we were going, but
I like your face paint. Okay.
This is who asked the hard questions.
She's totally Rita.
She's adorable. She looks the same.
And her son looks exactly like her.
This is who digs into London's history so you don't have to.
Sean.
We teased this one earlier and Julie got it right away.
I can totally tell.
Okay, this is who keeps London streets safe.
That must be the police chief.
Let's see. You got it. You're good at this game, Carlyle.
This is good. I love this.
Probably was taken back in his days in Thunder Bay as well.
Yeah. Well, you both did really well. I'm surprised. Some of them are easier, some of them are harder. Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's really fun. I enjoyed that. I can see the nostalgia and what Carmi said as well. He's right. Like bringing it back to the basics, and people just want that connection again.
Nostalgia's a heck of a drug.
Absolutely.
Lauren, thanks so much, Julie, as well. That's it for us tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good night.